Hello and welcome to Prime Code Media. In this video, I'll be discussing the Bootstrap buttons. Bootstrap provides several predefined button styles that can be used in many different ways. These are the examples of the different button styles, and here are examples of their code. Let's take a look at one of the examples of their code. So here we have the code for this button, that is the primary. Now if you take a closer look here, you'll see that the first thing that we have here is the button element, and then inside the button element the type is specified and it is that of a button. And then there are also Bootstrap classes. Here is the first class, btn, and then this class here specifies the button style. So for example, this is btn primary. Btn primary is this blue button, and then here for example you have btn secondary, and it is this style, which is a gray type of a button. Now I'm going to copy this button, I'm going to paste it inside my browser like so, inside my code editor, I beg your pardon, and then I'm going to save this and then open this inside my browser. Let me refresh and see. Now there we go, we have that button. This is the primary button, and then all you need to do to switch between the different styles is just to change the class. For example, if I want a button but I don't want the primary, but instead let's say I want a secondary, or I want to change this primary to secondary, all I'll have to do is just to come here and change the class from primary to secondary like so. And then I'm also going to change this name here from primary to secondary like so. Now let me save, and then let's go to the browser and see, refresh. Now as you can see, I've managed to change this button from primary to secondary, and I've done this by simply changing the class right here. Now Bootstrap also provides buttons that do not have background colors, and these are called outlined buttons. Now here they are, these are the examples of the outlined buttons. Now if I were to say, okay, I have that secondary button but I want to change it to outline, for example, as you can see, the background color only appears when I hover over it. All I'll just have to do is to include outline here. So I'll do that like so. For example, I'll just have to come here and then include outline. Let me save and then go back to my browser and then refresh. Now as you can see, I've just changed that button, or removed the solid background color. At the moment it's now an outline button, and the background color only appears when I hover over the button, and other than that the button stays like this without a background color. In Bootstrap, we also have the option to specify the size of a button. For example, as you can see here, this framework allows us to do that by specifying it like so. Here is, for example, the class that we will have to include if, for example, we want to have a large button. So this we do this by just simply adding this class. So it will be btn LG for a large button, and we will include a btn SM, for example, for a small button. So let's just enlarge our button by adding this btn LG. I'm going to go back to my button here and then add a class btn LG. Now let me save here and then go back to my browser and then refresh. Now, as you can see, this button is larger than it was, and we have done this by just adding a class btn lg, and this is just one of those things that this framework allows us to do. If, for example, it is just giving us an option when it comes to the sizes of the buttons that it provides. What this framework also allows us to do is to make a button look inactive, and this by simply adding a boolean attribute. So adding a boolean attribute will disable the button's hover state and make it inactive. For example, as you can see in this example here, this button is not clickable, and this is because they have added this boolean attribute. So I'm going to go back to my button and add this boolean attribute here. So, but first, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove this outline. So, meaning that I'm just going to make this button have a solid background like it did. Let me just save and see if I have successfully managed to remove or to have the background color back. Now it has its background color. It's no longer an outline. So I want to make this button inactive. To do that, I'm just going to come in here and simply add that boolean attribute disabled, like so, and then save. And then let's see how it looks right now. As you can see, at the moment it is clickable. Let me refresh. Now, as you can see, the button, first of all, it is now grayed out, and when I hover over it, it is no longer clickable. So the button is inactive, and I have done that by just adding that the boolean attribute to make it inactive. As you can see that it is now no longer clickable. Bootstrap also allows us to add icons to the buttons. You must have come across buttons that have icons on the internet. For example, if you take a look at soundcloud.com, here they have buttons that have icons inside. For example, if you want to download from the App Store, the button that you are going to use has the able button, and if you'll be downloading from Google Play, the button has this Google Play icon. So how did they add these icons? So let's see what the documentation says. If you scroll down to extended here and click open icons, first, before we use their icons, let's find out what we need to do. First, I'm going to click here on learn more about Bootstrap icons. Inside here, the first thing that I'll have to do in order to be able to use their icons, which are many as you can see, is to install. I'm going to click install here, and then I am going to include the icon font style sheet inside the head of my website. So I'm going to copy this CDN here, and then I am going to paste this inside the head, and then I'm going to save this here. So now once you've done this, you will be able to use those font or those icons. So now I just want to create two buttons, and now both of them are going to have icons inside them. So I'm going to go back to my button here. I'm going to copy this button and paste it right here so that we have two of them. remember the button that we have is disabled. I'm going to enable it. I'm going to delete this Boolean attribute here, like so. So I'm also going to remove secondary because I want to write download. I'm also going to write download here. This is the name of the button. What I also want to change is the type. I want the button, as you can see, this is the gray type or the secondary, so I want it to be dark. So here I'm going to change this class from secondary to dark, like so. So it's going to be dark, and here dark as well. Now let me save, and let's go back to the browser and see if this is rendered accordingly. Now we have two large dark buttons, and both of them are active, as you can see, and this is because I have enabled them by removing that Boolean attribute, and they are now clickable. Next, I am going to add icons to both of these buttons. Inside the documentation, I'm going to go back to the icons, and then first I'm going to search for the able icon. I'm going to type able inside here, and here is what it returns. I'm going to click on this able icon. So in order to use this able icon, so we are shown here is that code that I am going to just need to copy. I'm going to copy this code, and then I am going to paste it inside here, like so. And then let me save, and then let's go back to the browser and see if we've managed to add this icon to our button. Refresh. Now we have successfully managed to add this icon to our button. Now for the first time, this button has an icon. So here is that able icon. Now let's go ahead and include another icon here, and the icon here will be that of Google Play Store. I'm going to go back to our documentation and search for the Google Play button inside here. Okay, Google Play. So here is that Google Play icon. Once again, I'm going to copy, go back to my code editor, and paste the code here, save, and then go back to the browser and refresh. Now there we go. I have managed to add icons to both our buttons. This one has the able icon, and this one has the Google Play Store icon. Now, as you can see, this icon here on this website, that is soundcloud.com, the Google Play icon that they have added to their button has this Google Play brand color, so while ours here is just white. And that is the reason why I think this documentation, or the guys at Bootstrap, thought it's best that we do not restrict the users of our framework to our icons. And this is why they suggested that if you are not finding what you are looking for, you can just check this out inside these alternatives. So for example, if you want that Google Play button that has the brand colors, you can, for example, use one of these sources of icons. So if, because obviously, as you saw, the Bootstrap one does not have the colors, it's just a white button. And that brings us to the end of our discussion of the buttons. In this discussion, we touched on basics about buttons. There is a lot that we have not discussed that you will find in the documentation. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon to be notified when new videos come out. Till we call again next time, take care. Bye.